She was our baby. Like, she was literal baby. Like, the baby of the crew. We knew Hoggy. MJ.
That's how Mahogany Jackson's siblings and cousins say they will remember her. They tell me she was the life of the party who always knew how to stand up for herself. And her family says she did that to the very end.
My girl did what she did, told us what she was, helped us out. I'm so proud of her. Like, she did something then. She did something then. So
I'm glad, because
I'm glad she was on her toes.
Probably would have been just lost.
Thankfully, her sending her location helped police bring suspects into custody, and now those suspects are facing charges for what officials describe as horrific, even barbaric acts. And some of those things depicted were so bad, her big sister was afraid to see her.
I was so afraid to see what she looked like, knowing what happened. And my sister looked good, like she looked real good, and that warmed my heart. Like, that was the most thing that I was worried about.
But Maddox says she is angry about what happened to Mahogany, but right now she has to be there for her mother and her 3-year-old niece Nadia.
Of course, she's taking it hard. You know, I that's my sister, but that's her daughter, and that's just a different type of pain.
Right.
And I have kids myself, so I just can only imagine.
Mahogany Jackson, a mother from Birmingham, was stripped, chained, punched, spat on, and made to perform illicit behavior at gunpoint before she was executed by a gunshot to the back of her skull. She was tortured for hours against her will. Some of the 8 people charged in Jackson's killing had filmed the horrific event. Unfortunately, the people that were responsible for her death were her so-called friends. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Mahogany's family and friends. Today's case takes us to Birmingham. Birmingham is a city located in north-central Alabama in Jefferson County. It is the largest city in Alabama with a population of approximately 200,000 residents. Birmingham is known for its significant role in the history of the civil rights movement. The city was a focal point for civil rights activism in the 1960s, and landmarks such as the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, the 16th Street Baptist Church, and Kelly Ingram Park commemorate this important era.
I just want to start this off with a review. And I really don't review shit. So, here we go. That was Terrific Treats. Good. 10 out of 10. I feel like it gives more natural sweetness. It's very good. Good juice. Now, best for last.
On April 29, 2003, Mahogany Jackson was born. She attended Birmingham City Schools and later earned her Job Corps degree. Mahogany exuded vitality. Her heart was pure gold. Her cousins and her had only recently become very close. She was devoted to her daughter and loved her family. Mahogany Jackson was allegedly a member of the gang that sets people up to rob them and then kills them. This story began 2 years ago when Mahogany told No Love that Tigio was going to set her up for a robbery. Once No Love realized that Tigio was going to set her up, they got into a heated argument, but they were able to work things out and get back on good terms. During their conversation on February 14th, Mahogany threatened to set up Tigio's murder and robbery in order to get revenge on her for what she had done to her. Ariana proceeded to tell Tigio about what Mahogany had told them, and when Tigio learned of it, she persuaded other gang members to rob and kill Mahogany instead. After Mahogany had slept with her baby daddy, Ariana became irate with her. She then decided to tell Tigio about her strategy to have her killed. When Mahogany and the other group members went to one of the crew members' house on February 2024, they all immediately started attacking her. They allegedly asked her to open her password so they could check her phone during the attack, but she refused. She was forced to engage in sexual practices while being held at gunpoint while they began assaulting her. Jackson texted her mother on February informing her that she was being held captive. She gave her mother the name and address of the person who supposedly resides in the apartment where she was being held, asked her not to call her again, and advised her to call the police instead. And this was the last anyone had heard of Jackson. Once Jackson texted her mother, the supposed kidnappers discovered that she had used her phone, and they threatened to get her passcode so they could open her phone, but Mahogany refused. Before the cops arrived, Jackson was relocated. Mahogany Jackson was later found with a gunshot wound to the back of her skull. Jeremiah Kodak McDowell, 18, Brandon Pope, 24, and Francis Ace Harris, 25, were the three accused charged with capital murder during a first-degree sodomy and kidnapping. Taja Lewis, 26, Sinai McCall, 23, Giovanni Clapp, 23, Blair Green, 25, and Ariana Lachey Robinson, 23, are the other 5 individuals facing felony murder charges.
Tonight, new details in the death of Mahogany Jackson. 6 of the 8 suspects in court today. Thank you so much for joining us here at 6. I'm Brittany Decker.
I'm Guy Rawlings. We've been following the Mahogany Jackson case. WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn, live and local in Birmingham tonight outside the Jefferson County Courthouse. A lot of the details too gruesome to talk about, Aaron.
Yeah, Guy, Brittany, the hearing today lasted for about 3 hours, and the legal teams went through the details of what led up to Mahogany Jackson's death and even uncovered some new details about her final moments, and some of it was too unbearable for her family to hear. Now, today we know that the defense attorneys claim that Jackson was at one of the suspects' house, Brandon Pope, and questioned him about a gun that she says was stolen and money that was also stolen from her purse at some point throughout the day. She even made him strip to prove he didn't have it. Now, Pope told Harris to do something to her because she made him strip. Now, the detectives working the case say Jackson was assaulted multiple times throughout the time she was being held against her will. Now, both Jackson and some of the suspects' families were in the courtroom today for the detailed hearing, some of it becoming emotional. Now, District Attorney Danny Carr says her family might be disappointed some of the charges were reduced or thrown out, but they're one step closer to justice.
They understand the circumstances, but they also appreciate what we have in front of us, and they understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint. There's still a lot of work ahead of us, and we'll be there with them every step of the way and make sure that there's accountability.
Now, later in the day before Jackson died, she was put in Harris's car, and he, Pope, and McDowell took her to clean Harris's car out. Even though the defense claims Harris said they were taking her back to her house, that's when Harris is accused of pulling the trigger and shooting Jackson in the back of the head. Now, District Attorney Danny Carr calls this one of the most gruesome murders he's ever seen.
Since I've been in this office, I've had some, yes. Some of y'all maybe, I was young too at the time, but the Thanksgiving homicide at the Airport Inn Hotel, where 3 people were brutally murdered in the Airport Inn Hotel on Thanksgiving morning. I actually handled that case and tried it myself. That was a very brutal case. This one, unlike that one, the brutality kind of played itself out in real time because it's video. There's a video involved.
Now, this case is still being investigated, so new details could emerge in the coming days, and the things that are still being investigated are rape kits and ballistic results. Now, the 2 other suspects in this case are expected to be back in court for the same hearing on Monday. For now, we're live in Birmingham. Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13.
This incident serves as a reminder of how risky it is to hang out with the wrong people. The family is going through a very terrible time, and we hope they get justice they deserve for this heinous crime. It is also said that she was killed after they discovered she had conveyed messages to her mother, yet we do not know the true reason for her death. We hope Mahogany's spirit is at peace. If you would like to stay updated with this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.